Hello, everybody. So I'm a little nervous to put this out there, but I feel it necessary. Here's the content. I'm just going to jump right into it. The reality of God. What is God? What is that? What God is? I'm going to put God, the idea of God, into more realistic, what the reality of God really is. I've been studying this for a year. And so I don't claim to be, for any stretch of the imagination, a pro, a professional, a know-it-all in this aspect. In fact, what human would be, right? Because we're all experiencing a very small glimpse of what this universe, all the multi-dimensions that are available, we're only experiencing, our current 4 dimensions, 3 space, 1 time. So knowing science, physics is now learning that there are 10 dimensions. And so just to reiterate, scientifically, it's proven, we don't experience all there is to offer in the universe, period. Our human senses are but a glimpse of what actually exists in reality, in all of reality. Our perceived reality is a fraction of what actually exists, right? And so what I'm going to get into in this talk is going to be uncomfortable. It might be uncomfortable. Okay, so here we go. God, the idea of God, the reality of God. God is an idea of a sort of thinking stuff. Not a person, not a human form, obviously. This thinking stuff and multiple books that I've been reading and all of the sources that I've been absorbing in the last year, this thinking stuff, Napoleon Hill, Seth Speaks. I could go on and on. I can't even remember all of the books that I've read, but there's so many resources out there that are saying the same thing, and it all aligns with every religion as well. So it's really fascinating. Okay. So this thinking stuff is God. Okay. So thought, the original thought form, the original thinking stuff that can originate and propel with great power. This original thinking stuff. It's not like, oh, I'm thinking a thought and typically humans perceive thought as just like an idea that dissipates and doesn't really form much of anything. That's not correct. Your thoughts, law of attraction, are far more powerful than you know. There's a whole dimension that has been more than one dimension that is all thinking stuff, because we are an extension of the original thinking stuff, God. Okay. We are the creators. We are co-creators of our reality. And so this original thinking stuff had such pure, raw potential power that just propelled through. Think of it as the Big Bang, if you will, right? So eventually this thinking stuff created matter. Einstein equals MC squared. Energy can create matter and vice versa, right? So this thinking stuff created everything and just propelled that forward. Sorry, this is a bit choppy because I'm making it in segments. Sorry. So therefore, your ideas, your thoughts are far more powerful than you know. He, God, I say he because that's what we're all conditioned to think. God created all of us. We're all physical projections of his original thought. Just one of his thought evolutions, right? And there's infinite thought evolutions, and including the thought evolutions that we create as his creations, right? So it just continues to expand. So we're just within this medium of infinite probabilities of evolution through a multi-dimensional vortex of thought energy. And God is the idea. It's not a thing. It is not a thing. It's not a person. It's not a form. It's a thought, thinking stuff that is far more powerful than what that sounds in our human perspective. So there was no beginning, right? And there is no end, because the true reality is far more than physical. And I'm reading now at this point from my notes. Okay. So again, we experience a small glimpse within our human existence of the total and current multidimensional reality, the physical one that is confined and limited to our 3 dimensions of space and 1 dimension of time. Rules, our conditioned rules. And so what we're experiencing here on Earth is beautiful. It's not to underpower it, not to say that it's not important, because it is. Like, we're here for a reason. We're here to grow. We're here to evolve and experience this beautiful planet that we're on, this beautiful experience. We're here together as a community to evolve, right? But the true reality is full. It's infinite. It is ever expanding and creating. So again, physics is finding that our universe is just one of many. To be specific, they believe there are 10 dimensions, right? And so here's God's original thought, and that original thought has created multiple dimensions that we don't currently perceive. We only perceive our few dimensions, those 4, the 3 space and 1 time. But there's 6 more dimensions that we can't perceive with our human senses, unless we tap into some deeper altered states, which is a whole different side note tangent, which I can't get into in this lovely video right now. Let me be very clear though. God is more than just the sum of all of these realities, all of these dimensions. He, because it's not really a gender of any kind, is in every creation that he has ever made. Every person, every rock, every frog, everything in our own dimensions, but also all of those other dimensions. God, the idea of God, is all of that, and all that will ever be created, all that will ever be thought up and created in the future. So the idea of God is not, it's so much more than what we have been conditioned and taught. That's a simplified version for our simplified minds.